And I say to you sisters, I really want you to understand, you don't know who you killing. Alright? Just like this one Jeremiah the prophet, he was ordained even from the womb. Let's look at another one who was mentioned while still in the womb. This is Isaiah 49. It says, listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from far. The Lord hath called me from the womb. From the bowels of my mother hath he mentioned of my name. Now let's find out who Isaiah was prophesying of. It was that one to come. It was that Messiah to come. Matthew 1:18 reads, now the birth of Jesus was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Alright, now look at what came from the womb. The salvation of the world, the light of the world. God manifest in the flesh, came through a womb. So how could you go in a womb that brings forth life and destroy what comes out of it? You really need to consider what you're doing. Verse 19. I'm going to skip down to verse 20. But while he thought on these things, talking about Joseph and how he wondered how his wife was pregnant even though he hadn't known her, it says, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her in the womb is of the Holy Ghost. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus. For he shall save his people from their sins. That's even what Jesus means, Savior. He is a Savior. Alright, now he came from a womb. Again, how can you go into the womb and kill what's there? Kill that life. It is life. Alright. Very early, the makeup of the human being is already formed in the early stages of pregnancy. That heart is beating. I'm talking about that life starts when that sperm hits that egg. Conception. That is life. How can you kill it? How can you kill it? Let's go to Galatians 1 and 15. And this is Paul. Here's another one. Again, sisters, you don't know who is going to be birthed. Who is growing inside of your womb? You don't know. This is Paul. Listen to what he says. Galatians 1 and 15. But when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. This is Paul, who was separated inside the womb. How can one say that life doesn't start while in the womb? He was in the womb and was separated, sanctified by God to preach. And look at how Paul's writings have benefited, of course, through the revelations that Jesus gave him, but look how it has benefited the whole world. You don't know who you're killing, sister. You need to consider that. Let's go to Matthew 2. Matthew 2. Because there are times, as I stated earlier, that genocide is being practiced on the youth, on our young, and on our babies. And when you look at what, again, organizations like Planned Parenthood and other organizations have done to especially minorities, especially the so-called African American, who is the true Israelites written of in the Bible. Okay, make no mistake about it. When you read and understand and study what they have done, it's genocide all over again. Let's read this. I just want to read this in Matthew, the 2nd chapter. In verse 1 it says, Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen the star in the east, and are come to worship him. Alright? So they understood that, these wise men understood that this one that was to be born was to come. It was his time. Verse 3. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. So he's thinking, this another king besides me? So he's troubled. Verse 7. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. But he had no intent of worshiping him. Okay? But he did want to find him. Let's find out why. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, talking about the wise men, they departed into their own country another way. Okay? And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. See, that was his purpose. That was his intent, to destroy him, to destroy that king that was to come. So Joseph left with his family. The wise men went another way. So listen to what Herod did. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. See, he wanted that, what was coming from the womb, he wanted to kill it. Just like many of these eugenicists and these organizations that are concerned about population control of the darker races want to kill what's coming from that womb. And you are falling into the trap. See, this is genocide practiced on us in this time of Jesus. Right now, we are helping and aiding those who would practice it on us by practicing on themselves, on ourselves. Exodus 2. Because this is nothing new. Let's go back to the days of Moses, who was a prophet like unto Jesus. Exodus 2 and 1. And then when a man of the house of Levi took a wife, a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived and bare a son, and when she saw him that he was good, a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took from him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. She did this because of what Pharaoh did. Let's go back to 1 and see what Pharaoh did. Alright? In verse 7, in chapter 1, it says, And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. See, that is power in numbers. See, when you multiply, if there's enough of you, you can overtake another group of people. Okay? So, this Pharaoh feared the reproduction of our people. And he said to his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. Okay? So they put us in bondage, because before this time we weren't serving in hard bondage. They put us in bondage. And then he said something else. He said, because after this affliction we kept multiplying. He said, And the king spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shipra, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, When you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. See, he wanted to kill the man, kill the black male, because you are what your father is. And he knew that that's the way you wipe out a people. Even when genocide is practiced today, you look at Darfur. What are these Janjaweed doing? They are mass raping the women and spreading their seed among the women and mass murdering the men, wiping them out. That is genocide, because the seed is planted in the womb. Alright? And what comes forth of the womb is